Good morning, guys. So we are on section 3 of Cinderella. So I am going to start reading on the very bottom of the second page if you are following there. So where we last left off, the prince had invited all of the women in the town to the ball, and Cinderella was being super nice and helping her stepsisters get ready for the ball, even though they're not very nice to her. Then they kind of started teasing her of, do you want to go to the ball? Even though they can kind of see that she doesn't have anything to go in. And they even responded, it would make people laugh to see you at the ball. So they're not being super nice. And remember, she responded by kind of still taking care of them. And they said that other people would have not done so. Other people would have not taken care of them. She still made their hair look good. She still made their dresses look good. She still made their makeup look good. She was the one responsible for all that. And even though they're teasing her, she takes care of them. So that's just supposed to show how nice a person she is. That was Iris kind of poking her little ears in. So when they all leave, she starts to cry. And that's where I am. So her godmother, who saw her all in tears, asked her what was the matter. I wish I could, I wish I could. She was not able to speak the rest, being interrupted by her tears and sobbing. This godmother of hers, who was a fairy, said to her, "You wish that you could go to the ball. Is it not so?" "Yes," cried Cinderella with a great sigh. "Well," said her godmother, "but be a good girl, and I will contrive that you shall go." Then she took her into her chamber and said to her, "Run into the garden and bring me a pumpkin." And she says, "But be a good girl." Now, what's interesting about that is that we know Cinderella is the best girl. Cinderella is the sweetest, the prettiest, the nicest. She takes care of everyone around her, even when they're mean to her. She's just an overall good person. Cinderella went immediately to gather the finest she could get and brought it to her godmother, not being able to imagine how this pumpkin could help her go to the ball. Her godmother scooped out all the inside of it, leaving nothing but the rind. Having done this, she struck the pumpkin with her wand, and it was instantly turned into a fine coach, gilded all over with gold. She then went to look into her mouse-trap, where she found 6 mice all alive, and ordered Cinderella to lift up a little trap-door. She gave each mouse, as it went out, a little tap with her wand, and the mouse was that moment turned into a fine horse, which altogether made a very fine set of 6 horses, of a beautiful mouse-colored dapple gray. Being at a loss for a coachman, Cinderella said, "I will go and see if there is not a rat in the rat trap that we can turn into a coachman." "You're right," replied her godmother. "Go and look." Cinderella brought the trap to her, and in it there were 3 huge rats. The fairy chose the one which had the largest beard, touched him with her wand, and turned him into a fat, jolly coachman, who had the smartest whiskers that ever beheld. Now, the person does not have whiskers like a cat. They mean his beard. So he's got a beard and mustache. After that, she said to her, "Go again into the garden, and you'll find 6 lizards behind the watering pot. Bring them to me." She had no sooner done so, but her godmother turned them into 6 footmen, who skipped up immediately behind the coach, with their liveries all bedaubed with gold and silver, and clung as close behind each other as if they had done nothing else their whole lives. The fairy then said to Cinderella, "Well, you see here an equipage fit to go to the ball with. Are you not pleased with it?" So you see here an equipage. It's a very old word for equipment. So you're saying you have all the equipment. You have your carriage, you have your horses, you have your footmen, you have the people that would wait on you, which is what you turn lizards into. "Oh yes," she cried, "but must I go in these nasty rags?" Now, she means her clothes, right? She doesn't mean like actual rags. Her godmother then touched her with her wand. At the same instant her clothes turned into cloth of gold and silver, all beset with jewels. This done, she gave her a pair of glass slippers, the prettiest in the whole world. Being thus decked out, she got up into her coach, but her godmother, above all things, commanded her not to stay past midnight, telling her at the same time that if she stayed one moment longer, the coach would be a pumpkin again, her horses mice, her coachman a rat, her footmen lizards, and that her clothes would become just as they were before. She promised her godmother to leave the ball before midnight, and then drove away, scarcely able to contain herself for joy. The king's son, who was told that a great princess whom nobody knew had arrived, ran out to receive her. He gave her his hand as she alighted from the coach and led her into the hall among the company. There was immediately a profound silence. Everyone stopped dancing and the violins ceased to play, so entranced was everyone with the singular beauties of the unknown newcomer. Nothing was heard but a confused noise of "How beautiful she is! How beautiful she is!" The king himself, old as he was, could not help watching her, and telling the queen softly that it was a long time since he had seen so beautiful and lovely a creature. I'm going to call it there.